stopped me and gave me their phone, and they had me talk to somebody who lives here who speaks English. He's an English teacher, and he's a warm showers guy, so I'm gonna actually have a place to stay and shower. So that's cool. It all ended up working out, but this has been super stressful. And I just gotta find this guy's house. Yeah, I'm on the street too. Are you on the street closest to the train tracks, or are you on the street one away from the train tracks? He sent his niece out to come look for me, so she kind of saved my life. Hello. Hey. Thank you. Good to meet you.
Happy to meet you.
As well.
My name is Borjan.
Borjan.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But
man, this Borjan guy, what a trip. You know when you just get that feeling from somebody, just there's something feels kind of off, and you think you need to like walk on eggshells at all times. That's kind of the feeling I got with this guy. It was just I don't know, pretty weird experience. If you're going to be cycling from the Caspian Sea to Uzbekistan, I mean, you're probably going to have to stay with Borjan. I think I summed it up perfectly in my warm showers review, so I'm just going to read that off to you here. Borjan is a good guy, but just be aware that after you've been cycling for days in the Kazakhstan heat, feeling exceptionally tired, exhausted, and sweaty, you won't be welcomed with any remedies until much later into your stay. You will immediately be sat down to help students with their English for about an hour while you're dirty, hot, and tired. Afterwards, you will walk with him to the store to pay for some food, which is a little unorthodox, but completely understandable. We as tourists shouldn't expect more than a shelter when traveling through these parts of the world. Yeah, the thing with that is he told me that some people who stayed with him got a little upset that they'd have to buy some of their own food, which I think is a little ridiculous. I mean, these people don't have a lot, and they're already giving you a home. Like, if they want you to buy some food for dinner, like, buy the whole dinner, you know? It's gonna cost you $5, whatever, max. But the weird thing is that he took me to the store, and I didn't really know what he wanted me to buy, and he's like, just buy whatever you think you need, like, whatever you want, just buy it. And which is a little too obscure, but then he'd give me these suggestions of what to buy. So I bought all this stuff for dinner, I thought, and then we finally walked back to the house. Mind you, this is like at least 5 hours after I arrived at his house, and I still haven't eaten. He gave me like a little piece of bread, but that's it. And we get to the house, and then his mom had already like prepared dinner, which was fine by me. I was starving. But all that food that I bought, all this like chocolate and all these fruits and vegetables and things, I never saw again, even though he was making it out to be like I'm buying this for all of us. Maybe there was some kind of language barrier, but it was kind of strange, especially since I bought like a kilo of chocolate and never saw it again. But anyways, you will finally eat a delicious homemade meal after hours of being in town. It will be later still until you are provided with a bucket of water to bathe with. Yeah, I mean, you're cycling for days through the desert, camping, and you know, that's the thing. He's not a cyclist. He doesn't know what cyclists need, and I've noticed a lot of people in this part of the world have a really hard time putting themselves in the shoes of others. Either they have a hard time doing it, or they just don't do it at all. But yeah, you show up and you feel gross, and you're having to like entertain school children and go shopping and doing all this stuff when you just wanted a damn shower. The site's called Warm Showers. I didn't even care if it's a bucket, you know. He could have given me like a half a bucket when I first got there, and I'd have been so happy. The thing is, this guy has hosted a ton of people with a varying array of positive, negative, and neutral reviews, and he hasn't really like taken any of it to heart, I guess. Borjan is a good host in the best way he knows. However, I think if he plans on hosting bicycle tours specifically, and if he wants to use them as a teaching aid, he needs to understand where cyclists are coming from. We're hot, we're sweaty, hungry, tired. We've been camping in the desert and cycling in the sun. A piece of bread and an opportunity for a nap before engaging in Borjan's plans for you would be appreciated. Basically what I just said. My recommendation to cyclists would be to eat and rest before arriving to this home, and you will have a very nice time with Borjan, while also creating a memorable cultural experience. Thank you, Borjan, for the stay. I left that as a neutral review. I had it positive at first, but he never like responded to me, and I left it as a positive review to be nice, but then looking back, the honest thing to do would make it a neutral review. And it's tough. I mean, these people are giving you a place to stay, and you're gonna like complain about it, you know? Especially these people who have very modest homes and below modest incomes, and they're giving you a place to stay, and like you're gonna leave them a neutral view on warm showers. It's kind of a strange predicament, but if I were to have read my review before I got to Bordejan's, I may not have even gone to his house. I may have just continued along and camped, because really I plan on going like 50, 60 kilometers more that day, but I thought, hey, this will be a nice place to relax and shower and eat, and turns out it wasn't really any of those things. So yeah, if you're going to be going through Schüttepied, it's pronounced Schüttepied, not Steppe as I thought, yeah, stay at Bordejan's if you want, but definitely eat some food prior. I recommend just continuing along your route and camping and waiting till you get to a bigger city. It's kind of a weird experience there. But that's all part of the fun of traveling by bicycle. All right, so don't get me wrong. I mean, I stay at people's houses when I travel. I mean, it's all part of having, you know, your cultural experience. But I haven't really been going out of my way to seek it out here. I really haven't been using warm showers. If somebody approaches me on the street or we're having a conversation and organically it comes up that they would want to give me a place to stay, then yeah, usually I oblige. But staying with the host here in developing countries and staying with the host in more Western countries, it's a very different experience. The main difference is that the people out here, they're not cyclists. People here don't really participate in outdoor recreation or common forms of exercise like we do. I mean, they're working, man. They're working and they're raising kids. They don't have time to do this stuff. So they don't really have any concept of where you're coming from. When you show up to host out in a country like Tajikistan or Uzbekistan, whatever, you're kind of there to entertain them. You're like the carnival has just arrived, and they're going to ask you a ton of questions, and you're obliged to, man, like be on your game and be answering all these questions and talking about America and teaching them English. It's not very relaxing. You don't nobody out here will welcome you into their house and be like, oh, you look really tired. Here's your room. You can go to sleep. It's okay. You can see us in the morning. We'll have breakfast ready. You know, and you shouldn't really expect that from any of your hosts, obviously. But I get a lot more relaxation and I recharge a lot more when I'm camping, even out in the desert, as opposed to staying at a host's house out in Kazakhstan or wherever you are in these types of regions. Basically, there's just a lot more expectation out of you as the guest when you're staying at these host families' houses. And if you're looking for a place to relax, I wouldn't really recommend hitting up warm showers or trying to find a house in a village to stay at. If you want to have a cultural experience, which of course you should, that's why you come out to these regions, then it's about time to stay with the host. But just understand that it's not going to be what you're used to back in the States or Europe or anything like that. I'd say the other issue I kind of have with being a guest out here is just accepting free things from people who really don't have that much to give you. And they'll give you a bunch of stuff, meaning like food and a place to stay and water in places where water is more scarce. They're going to give you these things because it's part of their culture and they want to be very friendly. And especially in these Muslim countries, it's very common to help the weary traveler. But they might not necessarily be able to afford it, but they're giving it to you anyway. So there's kind of a moral dilemma there. I mean, shoot, the average annual salary in Tajikistan is like $160. But, you know, maybe that's the trade-off you have to think about in regards to people wanting to just suck up all of your energy when you're staying at their house because they're giving you, because the trade-off is that you're giving them entertainment and they're giving you food and a place to stay. As opposed to like Europe and in the States, people are just giving you a place to stay because it's a friendly thing to do and people need free places to stay when they're cycling through countries. Here, there's more of an expectation that you are going to provide them with entertainment for the night, and in return, you get food. And for people that are giving you things who don't have much to give in the first place, the least you could do is give back to them by entertaining them, asking or answering their questions, and even asking them questions about their culture. Another thing too is that people will kind of give half-hearted offers. People will offer you to stay at their house, but they might not actually mean it. It's just kind of something to be polite. And if you were to just take them up on their offer first thing, you may be accidentally taking advantage of somebody who didn't necessarily want to give you what scarce food that they have left. I've been reading up online, and at least in Tajikistan here, it's common for people to offer you a place to stay or offer you food 2 times, and those 2 times aren't necessarily genuine. But if they offer a 3rd time, then you know for sure that the offer is genuine and you can say yes and not feel bad, and they actually do have enough to give you. So yeah, it's good to maybe check ahead online about some cultural misunderstandings that you might encounter before going to a country, because you may accidentally put someone in a bind. I'd really like to hear from other people who have cycled in these regions and kind of see what their opinion is on being guests in these developing countries. And not so much even just the feeling that you're taking advantage of people, but the feeling that you can't relax, and that there's a point where you've had enough cultural experiences for a while and you really don't want to sit down and have tea for like the 30th time with people. You don't want to stop and have lunch with the locals. I mean, you just want your freaking space for a minute. And I feel like a jerk saying that, but when you're traveling for, I'll be traveling for 5 months. Plenty of people travel longer than that. You can only have so many cultural experiences per week before you're just completely socially drained. So yeah, that's kind of a lot to cover. This is kind of why I wanted to keep this separate from the normal vlog series, because I think these are some good discussion topics, and it's things that I've kind of been struggling with for a while out here. So I'd like to hear kind of the feedback from some other people who may or may not have been in my exact shoes. And anyways, after this video, I'm most likely going to be cycling through the Pamir Highway with super limited Wi-Fi and electricity and cell reception. So currently I'm in Dushanbe. I'm going to be making about 4 videos, and I'm going to schedule them to upload at certain times while I'm on the Pamir Highway. So I'm not really going to have any online presence. There's just going to be videos that upload, and people can comment, but I'm not going to be able to respond for a few weeks after. So don't think I'm like kind of being a cold-hearted YouTube uploader. It's just I'm going to be cycling through mountainous regions in Tajikistan and Kyrgyzstan. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'm really looking forward to hitting the Pamir Highway. Sorry my videos are so far behind. I probably won't have the Pamir video for, I don't know, a few weeks after this video you're seeing right now. All right, bye. So I'm chilling at this rest stop, and I went to go throw something away in this big garbage can, and it totally scared the crap out of me. Andy's name? I don't know. Man, the bug scene out here is so ridiculous. There's these little tiny gnats that just get over everything. I don't know if you can see them in this video. At night, you just can't use your headlamp or flashlight on your phone or anything, because you just get rampaged and accosted by all these giant insects. Are they mating, or did this guy catch this guy and kill him? Oh, fuck!